Hello to everyone watching. My name is Tegan Smith. I'm finally a senior at Duke. I'm a philosophy major, and I'm also a Benjamin Newton Duke scholar. And I just wanted to take a second to explain what I did on my independent summer of service in 2019. So before I began deciding even remotely what I was going to be doing, I had a few qualifications. So my service had to help the most people, the greatest amount. I had to go somewhere that spoke French because otherwise that was a year and a half of language learning down the drain. I wanted it to be sustainable, so that meant partnering with a pre-existing organization. And I also wanted to go somewhere warm. So that ended up being Madagascar. Just a little bit of background on the kind of problems that Madagascar faces. It is an extremely impoverished nation. According to the World Bank, it's actually the most impoverished nation not in a time of war. There's a lack of social mobility. The only options that are for people who want to escape a cycle of poverty are go to university or become a tour guide. And both of those require having to learn a foreign language, which is not Malagasy, their native tongue. There's also a lot of environmental concerns, namely, there's a lack of infrastructure, so they don't have any kind of recycling or trash programs. Madagascar is one of the most naturally diverse and beautiful landscapes. Animals exist there that don't exist anywhere else in the world. But that is changing because of deforestation. They're making palm oil plantations in an attempt to make money for themselves as a nation, and they're being exploited in doing that as well. And lastly, there's educational inequality. So even though the system itself is not very good in Madagascar, there's still inequality that exists within that. And I sought to eliminate or ameliorate some of these issues. And my approach was to do that by increasing social mobility. That means increasing access to education. Every single morning, I would go out to the schools and I would teach English and French to young students, vocabulary, grammar, so that they can get a head start in life. Every single night, I would create debate topics and teach them about complex issues that are plaguing Madagascar to students who already spoke English and French. I also individually tutored students who took interest into philosophy and taught them about Immanuel Kant. And I also helped contributed to construction projects on the island to give people the opportunity to complete their own and start their own business ventures. So for example, I went down to the school and helped build a fence that would keep out goats so that they could build their garden up to sell the plants and food to make money for the school. I also wanted to help with conservation. That involved teaching them about global warming and some of the side effects of deforestation on Madagascar. And one of the amazing projects that I worked on was the Eco Brick project. So that took an empty bottle that someone would have just thrown away, and we also filled them with plastic. We would do beach sweeps and things like that to fill them up, and then we would use them as bricks to help with infrastructure. There's also a lack of resources for disabled children, so they're often really lonely and don't have proper education. So I would go down there and keep them company and read to them. So the things that I can definitively say that I did, I helped increase literacy, I increased awareness of environmental issues, and I helped to empower the community, even though I didn't solve all of Madagascar's problems. So thank you so much for listening.